Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon before we begin, because this is not just a music story, it's a human one. What you're about to hear isn't about fame, charts, or awards. It's about survival, loss, and the invisible weight carried by a man the world calls a legend. Barry Gibb didn't just outlive an era of music. He outlived everyone who made that era possible in his life. When people see him today, they see the last surviving BG, a symbol of success and endurance. What they don't see is the loneliness behind that survival, or the grief that followed every victory. This is the story of why surviving became Barry Gibb's deepest wound, and why strength for him was never just talent. It was pain endured quietly for a lifetime. Barry Gibb's life did not begin with promise or privilege. It began in instability, uncertainty, and struggle. Born on September 1, 1946, on the Isle of Man, Barry entered a world shaped by post-war hardship. His parents, Hugh and Barbara Gibb, worked relentlessly just to keep food on the table. Money was always short, and stability was a luxury they never had. The family moved constantly, chasing work that never lasted long enough to bring comfort. Even as a baby, Barry seemed marked by survival. At just 18 months old, a tragic accident changed his life forever. He pulled a teapot onto himself, covering his small body with boiling water. Doctors told his mother he had only minutes to live. For months, she refused to leave his hospital bedside. Barry survived, but the burns left scars that would never fade, physical proof that he lived when he was not supposed to. Those scars became symbolic of Barry's entire life. Growing up in post-war Manchester after the family relocated in 1955, survival was a daily challenge. Barry, Robin, and Maurice slept in cramped rooms, wore worn-out clothes, and often went to bed hungry. Their father's work as a drummer brought rhythm into the house, but little money. Their mother carried the emotional burden, holding the family together while quietly breaking down behind closed doors. Music became Barry's refuge early on. It wasn't entertainment, it was escape. It was hope. By the age of 9, Barry had already formed his first group, performing wherever he could. He didn't dream of stardom. He dreamed of stability. Music was not a choice. It was a lifeline. In 1958, the Gibb family made a bold and desperate decision to migrate to Australia under an assisted program. They boarded the ship Faircy with few possessions and even fewer guarantees. Life did not suddenly improve, but Barry's sense of responsibility grew heavier. He sang anywhere he was allowed, including racetracks, breathing dust while pouring his heart into his voice. Even as a teenager, Barry felt it was his duty to lift his family out of struggle. That sense of responsibility would never leave him. It would shape every decision he made, every song he wrote, and every sacrifice he accepted without complaint. By the early 1960s, Barry, Robin, and Maurice began performing seriously as a trio. They called themselves the Bee Gees, Brothers Gibb. Barry naturally became the leader, not because he demanded it, but because he carried the weight. He wrote constantly, shaping the sound and identity of the group. Their harmonies were rare, instinctive, and emotionally mature beyond their years. Local success followed, but Barry knew Australia was limited. In 1967, the family returned to England with little more than belief. That gamble changed everything. Music executive Robert Stigwood heard something special and signed them immediately. Success came fast, almost violently. Hits poured out, and the Bee Gees became global stars almost overnight. But fame came with fractures no one noticed. Barry was increasingly positioned as the face and creative force of the group. Robin, deeply sensitive and proud, felt overshadowed. When Barry's song was chosen over Robin's for a major single, resentment exploded. In 1969, Robin left the group. For Barry, this felt like losing a limb. Even though his brother was alive, the harmony that defined their existence was broken. Barry attempted a solo path, but it felt hollow. Without his brothers, the music felt incomplete. The reunion came, but something had cracked beneath the surface, a crack that would widen under pressure. The 1970s brought reinvention. Barry discovered falsetto almost by accident, and it transformed everything. The Bee Gees became pioneers of a new sound, blending R&B, soul, and dance music. When Saturday Night Fever exploded in 1977, Barry Gibb's voice became unavoidable. The success was historic, overwhelming, and global, but it also made them targets. When disco fell out of favor, the backlash was brutal. Radio bans, mockery, and public rejection followed. Barry retreated into songwriting and production for others, achieving success in silence while the Bee Gees' name was pushed aside. Then came the loss that shattered him beyond repair. Andy Gibb, the baby brother Barry helped raise, spiraled into addiction. Barry tried everything to save him. Nothing worked. In 1988, Andy died at just 30 years old. Barry was consumed by guilt. He questioned whether success had destroyed his brother, whether he had failed him. That pain never left. It only deepened with time. More losses followed. Their father passed away. Then in 2003, Maurice died suddenly during routine surgery. The shock was devastating. Maurice was the glue, the peacemaker. Without him, the Bee Gees ceased to exist. Barry and Robin knew the name could not survive without all three voices. When Robin was later diagnosed with cancer, Barry stood by him until the end. In 2012, Robin died, leaving Barry completely alone. Being the last Gibb brother was not an honor. It was a sentence. Barry openly admitted he didn't understand why he survived. Music became therapy, not ambition. Albums released later were conversations with ghosts. Every award felt incomplete. Every applause reminded him of absence. Today, Barry lives quietly, surrounded by family, carrying a legacy too heavy for one man. His strength did not come from talent alone. It came from pain endured, loss survived, and love that never faded. Barry Gibb survived everything, but survival was never the victory people think it was.